So how do journalists do in the eyes of their customers versus how do they do in their own eyes? Well, two major U.S. universities tested that question, Arizona State and University of Texas at Austin, which, if you don't know, Austin is considered the San Francisco of Texas in terms of how far left-wing it is. Austin is as leftist as Portland. These are not Texas conservatives, by the way. So this was a study done by the Center for Media Engagement, and it was released just 2 weeks ago. So this is fresh stuff. I haven't seen it in the news of you. Let me quote their description of the study. This is how they describe it. Together, they're talking about the two universities, we designed and tested an online survey that 3 news organizations used to examine transparency, engagement, and mutual understanding with the communities they serve. In total, 4,854 people participated in the survey from 3 communities. I think that's pronounced Macon, Georgia, Fresno, California, and Kansas City, Missouri. Our partner newsrooms in those communities who also surveyed 88 journalists and 51 news sources. I'll explain what that is in a second. This report provides insight into what we learned across those surveys. So that's how they describe it. Now that's pretty big, right? 4,854 survey respondents. That is huge. And 88 journalists. And this was done in cooperation with their newspapers, right? And 51 different news sources. And by that, they mean someone who's quoted in a news story. That's what they call a news source, like the person they interviewed for a story. So they had California in the west, Missouri in the heartland, Georgia in the southeast. It's not the whole country, but it is a mix, isn't it? And I'm going to spend the rest of my monologue looking at just 2 graphs. Here's the first one. Now hold this up on the screen for a bit because I'm going to go through it. Let's understand what this shows. The 3 colors, as you can see, represents the 3 different groups of people. Blue is the public. That's the customer. Yellow is the sources of information. That is a person who witnessed a car crash and then was interviewed by a journalist, a spokesman for a union or a company or maybe a politician. It's in the source of information given to the journalist. And of course, red is the journalists themselves, or orange, I guess, dark orange. And they were rating the journalists on a scale of 1 to 5. 1 is the worst, 5 is the best. And this, as you can see, image has 3 questions on it. You can see the questions at the bottom. And this is about fact-based reporting, as you can see in the title. So let me start with the question on the left. You see that, those little 3 bars on the left there? Underneath it, do journalists care about getting the facts right? As you can see, journalists, that's the dark orange bar, they gave themselves 4.8 out of 5. You know, that works up to what? What's that, like 96%? That's an A+. That's almost perfect. That's the brain surgeon saying, I did that surgery perfectly. That guy, he's going to be back to normal. You won't even know he had a stroke or something. I don't know. That's the pilot saying, perfect 3-point landing of the jet, smooth as silk, landed on schedule, great service. That's the pilot saying, I'm awesome. But the people who actually had to deal with the reporters, the news sources, as you can see, that's the yellow bar there on the left. They gave the reporters just 3.5 out of 5 for getting the facts right. It's not quite a failing grade, but it's pretty iffy. As a percentage, that's 70%. That's weak. So 1/3 of the time, I'm just interpreting here, 1/3 of the time there'd be a factual problem. That's one way of looking at it. But look at the bar graph on the very, very, very left. That's the one in blue. That's the public. They say journalists care about getting the facts right, only 2.9 stars out of 5. Would you stay at a hotel that got 2.9 stars out of 5 in terms of cleanliness or service? I guess if you were really looking to save money or were desperate or something. Now, I don't know who's right here, but there's a rule of thumb. The customer's always right. You ever heard that? And the customer says the media don't care about facts. That's an excerpt from my daily show, the Ezra Levant Show, weekdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. Every day I do a monologue, interview a guest, and read my fan mail and my hate mail. To subscribe, go to therebel.media/shows.